Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Warhammer Quest with me, BringItDon. So off camera I did one more dungeon, and both my Way Watcher and Marauder got to level 2, and my Witch Hunter hit level 3. I tried to tailor back his killing, but he's just so good at killing undead that he hit level 3 off camera. And with that, we actually have some new abilities. Check those out. So the Way Watcher has Critical Strike now. The Way Watcher attacks with a critical strike, ignoring all of their opponent's toughness. And our Marauder has Battle Shout. The Marauder lets out a deafening battle shout. Each enemy has an 80% chance to be stunned by the reverberations. And our Witch Hunter got Marked for Judgment. Damages the targeted enemy for 5 to 8 wounds. This damage increases with the Witch Hunter's level and increases significantly against undead targets. Alright, now we are going to read the rest of our class's descriptions. We've read the first 4 in the Witch Hunter, so now for the Slayer. We'll also look at their abilities. So the Slayer, when the Troll Slayer critically hits a monster, he cleaves through the monster's defenses with ease. For that blow, the Troll Slayer causes an additional 4 to 6 damage depending on his battle level. Oh yeah, let's read what he's about as well. Snorri Shanebeard. Dwarves are a proud race who do not cope well with failure, such as a loss of wealth, stature, the inability to uphold a promise, or satisfy a grudge. If any of these things come to pass, then there's only one path left for a dwarf. He will shun his armor, dye his hair and coat it in grease, grab the ancestral axe, and walk into the wilderness in search of death. But this cannot be any miserable death. They must seek it by fighting and killing monsters. The larger the creature they can slay, the more they can atone for past shame. Of course, a skilled warrior with such an outlook is bound to be a useful member in any group of adventurers. Then Otto Jägerhausen. Sigmar, the founder of the Empire, was a great warrior, perhaps the greatest to have ever walked the old world. So the religion that was founded in his stead is a martial one. His clergy are more than orators and chaplains. They are warrior priests, capable of cleaving orc heads and besting chaos warriors while singing battle hymns and channeling the light of Sigmar with each swing of their hammer. Whilst many warrior priests attend a temple, there are also a few who are encouraged to wander the Empire, ministering to its people, slaying the fell creatures that have trespassed onto Sigmar's lands, and to hunt out sacred relics in the name of the Grand Theogonist. Thus, a party of dungeoneering treasure hunters make amiable, if not theologically ideal, companions. In his abilities, he has Scourge of Chaos. The Blessed Warrior gains an increased chance to hit for the remainder of the turn, and Call of the Brave. The Blessed Warrior gains the ability to dodge incoming blows for the remainder of the turn. Dodge attacks cause no wounds. Alright, then we have a level 1 Archmage. Ward Save. It's a passive. The Archmage is sometimes able to magically deflect incoming damage when struck in combat. Each time the Archmage casts a spell, the chance of deflecting damage during the enemy turn is increased, up to a maximum chance of 50% when 3 spells have been cast during the turn. And then Phoenix King's Protection grants protection to all warriors in the group, giving them a chance to avoid damage whenever they are attacked until your next turn. And then Starlance. Attack the targeted enemy, causing substantial damage proportional to the Archmage's battle level. The Archmage must be able to see the target. While men can only see one of the 8 Sorceress Winds, their minds inadequate to master more than a single lore. The High Elves of Ulthwind can perceive the entire breadth of the magical spectrum. This, combined with a lifespan many times that of a man, means that High Elf Archmages are undoubtedly some of the most powerful sorcerers in the entire world. There are myriad reasons why a powerful Archmage would deign to associate with such rough and tumble types as a group of adventurers. They could be in search of lost knowledge, a forbidden magical tome, or maybe they are simply trying to learn the ways of the Empire and its citizens, which are often confounding, contradictory, and crude compared to the refined ways of the High Elves. Alright, Bright Wizards. Of the 8 magical orders within the Empire, it is the Bright Wizards, the Pyromancers, who are arguably the most feared by the common denizens. For those who wield the lore of fire are quick to anger, and have fierce temperaments that can run as hot as flame. It is no coincidence that such fiery individuals are drawn to the Bright College, where fire and fury can be turned into a deadly gamut of spells. While practitioners of the 7 other orders can use their arcane arts in subtle and strange manners, a Bright Wizard has a repertoire of spells which are far more direct. Why bother creating illusions to confuse and befuddle, when a fireball will deal with the foe in a more instant and lethal way? Such power is held in awe by the Empire's generals who view the wizards as magical artillery. All well and good on the battlefield, but in the dungeon, more caution needs to be taken, for fire and enclosed spaces are not always a good mix. And he has Cinder Blast. The wizard sends a burst of energy which explodes on contact, causing damage to all adjacent units, friend or foe. Fireball. The wizard throws a fireball at an enemy, dealing damage proportional to his level. And Wall of Fire. The wizard can conjure a protective ring of fire around a friendly unit, giving them a chance to resist an enemy attack. Then the Shadow Warrior. Passive, reaction strike. The Shadow Warrior is able to make an immediate attack on an enemy that surprises him. He must have at least one melee attack remaining, though the reaction strike is free. And then Encumbrance passive. The Shadow Warrior's freedom of movement allows him to great skill with his weapons. As he becomes tougher, through the use of armors or other means, his weapon skill drops by half the amount his toughness increases. And then Alacrity, passive. Making ranged attacks does not prevent the Shadow Warrior from continuing to move. Alright, long ago the Elven race was riven by a bitter civil war. Their island home Ulthuan was ravaged by the followers of the Witch King, those who would become the Dark Elves. This troubled era is known as the Sundering, a schism that blights the High Elves to this very day. The Dark Elves are eventually defeated and exiled across the sea, from where they constantly raid, desperate to retake their former homeland. Common invasion routes travel along the Shadowlands, a blighted realm that still bears the scars of the Sundering. However, the Shadowlands are not unprotected. Stood Sentinel are the Shadow Warriors, a taciturn or taciturn warrior class who excel at ambush and guerrilla warfare. It is said that a Shadow Warrior's heart is forever cold, chilled by hatred for their former kin. These warriors are seen as elites by even the lofty standards of the High Elves, and are a master of both longbow and blade. Who's to say why such deadly killers find themselves in the company of strangers, exploring the dungeons of the old world? Could they still be stalking Dark Elves so far from home? And then the Ogre. Iron Guts are ferocious ogres that wield large double-handed weapons such as giant, crudely forged scimitars, or even whole tree trunks in their heavily muscled arms. Along with a tendency to eat anything they come across, their usual role is as a bodyguard for a tyrant, the ogre warlords who lead rampaging hordes down into the civilized lands from the Mountains of Morn. Such a prestigious place in an ogre tyrant's personal retinue brings many benefits, including first pickings of the loot. This inflates the ogre's ego to no end. Thus, Iron Guts may not actually be any stronger or skilled than the more common ogre bulls. They simply have superior weapons and an ego to match. There's no mystery why a band of warriors would want an ogre in their party. Aside from the difficulty of mingling in the local tavern, an ogre is a formidable foe to any monster encountered in a dungeon. Their mercantile nature also ensures a certain amount of loyalty to the group, as long as they get a sizable share of the loot. He starts the Mighty Swing, attack the targeted adjacent enemy, as well as anyone standing to the target's left or right, causes damage proportional to the ogre's battle level. Alright, finally done reading all of that, let's go adventuring. Alright, and so this is a quest as well, but we're going to do the story quest. Also, I did look into the death blow mechanic. It turns out that death blow triggers whenever it's your warrior's first attack, and they hit and kill an enemy on their first attack. It'll trigger the death blow, and then that'll keep going so long as they hit and kill whatever they attack next. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to still bring the Grey Wizard. I'm going to bring one level 2 with us just to ensure victory, and then I'm going to bring Otto and, I guess, Gotrek. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, excuse me. Alright, the Miserable Minstrel. A few hours later, you find yourself amidst some ruins that the forest has long since taken over. The trees ominously tower over the decaying walls, and vicious-looking ivy has covered the rest. The Minstrel, now much happier, points to a sunken cave entrance in the center of the ruins. Off you go then, it's down there. Don't worry about the bandits. They've been scared off by whatever lurks in there. Nothing that will bother brave warriors such as yourselves. Remember, the gold is yours, but the instrument is mine. Alright, so let's see what these guys have equipped. Alright, Alright, Ring of Jade, at the end of turn, chance to regenerate, but also chance to damage. That seems like it's gonna be a good time. I'll probably give this to the Way Watcher. Alright. I did get a new... I got this off camera. No, this was... Was this the quest I did on camera or off camera? I don't remember. It'll be fine. Now that all the introductions are out of the way, we can dig into the game properly. Let's go to the east. Snotlings. Darn. Okay. Oh, forgot that does that. Whoopsies. It'll be fine. There you go. He needs to get some kills. He needs some experience. He's been on through 2 dungeons and he hasn't hit level 2 yet. Alright, stone bread can only be consumed by dwarves. Gosh darn. Can't say I didn't try. +1 max wounds, okay. Works for me. Some orc boys. Nice. She hasn't hit a single range shot this entire time. Oh, great. A bunch of night goblins. Nice. Even nicer. Darn it. Do Reaver Bow. No, she's out of attack, she can't use that. Alright, well, I guess that's it. Oh wow. Yeah, he took a big hit. Let's take care of these guys. Maybe. Oh, come on now. Alright, well, let's heal him up some. There we go. Let's get the heavy hitters, if we can. Yeah, let me fast forward this. There we go, finally hit him. Fantastic. Alright, cool. Alright. On killing the mighty foe, you notice in the corner a large collection of worthless shiny trinkets and items. Your party searches through the piles of junk and discover a beautiful silver loot. This must be what the minstrel is after. You pick it up and look to exit the dungeon. Alright, as promised, and perhaps surprisingly given your unusual guide, there's indeed a hoard of gold. And in one chest you find a silver loot that has the unmistakable whiff of enchantment about it. With the treasure collected, you make your way back to the surface and find the minstrel balanced on top of a dilapidated wall. He looks down on you with a delighted smile as you emerge into the evening gloom. Victorious, I see. I knew you would be. Now, have you loot? Give it here and I'll play us a merry ditty all the way to Siegfriedhof. Yeah, we'll give it to him. The minstrel graciously accepts the instrument. After all, you did have a deal. He jumps down from the wall and begins to play the lute. But something strange happens. All the members of your party immediately start to unload the treasure and place it in a pile before the minstrel. From the undergrowth, a motley group of ruffians appear to sneer and observe your party's strange behavior. You see, boys, once you play the lute of compelling, well, the music is so very mesmerizing, says the minstrel addressing the menacing crowd. He turns back to the adventurers. May I introduce the bandits whom I spoke of earlier? Did I not mention that I lead this merry band? He smirks, all the while dancing around your party's ensorcelled forms. Thank you for giving us the treasure. Now, if you'll just bear with me while I change tune and compel you to be very still while my companions slit your throats. The music stops, if only for a split second, but it's enough for one of your group to let fly a dagger that slices strings of the infernal lute. The minstrel is outraged and orders your immediate execution. The first 5 thugs that come near are struck down by your adventurers in a bloody swath. But there are many more bandits, and your party won't get them all before being overcome. Regrettably, retreat is the only answer, for now at least. You'll get the god's darn minstrel another day. Alright, so we've been betrayed for the first time, but not the last. Okay. The Grey Minstrel's Revenge. Your warriors dally on their return to Siegfriedhof, spending more than a few nights out in the open. When they arrive back in town, they notice that Siegfriedhof is busy. A nervous energy permeates the residents, and crowds are drawn towards the main square. Your party follows the human current, curious as anyone to see what is happening. In the center of the square, upon a raised stage, a long but sturdy wooden pole extends upwards the length of thick rope attached to the end. Dangling on the rope, tied to it by his ankles, a familiar figure sways like a human pendulum. As he flails about, the watching masses caterwaul and pelt him with rotten vegetables. Some even strike out with improvised cudgels should he swing into range. The adventurers recognize the hapless victim as none other than the Bandit King himself, the Grey Minstrel. He must have been caught whilst your party was dawdling on the return trip. The warriors push their way forward, keen to find out what's come about, and even gloat if they get a chance. Despite the swinging motions and upside-down perspective, the Grey Minstrel spots your party as they draw near. "Greetings," says the Grey Minstrel, smiling in spite of his predicament. "I promised revenge, and I now have you right where I want you," he says while swinging overhead, barely missing a large marrow thrown from their mob. "Don't worry about this, it's all part of the plan. I have his daughter, you see," he points with a flailing hand. Your party turns to see the Burgermeister, standing firm just beyond the rabble with a grim visage, and flanked by the town's watch. "He's waiting for me to give up the location, but I'm only going to tell you lot. It's a trap, you see. One you're going to walk right into. He won't kill me while his daughter's alive, and if she dies, well, he'll kill all of us. I'd go find her if I were you." The Grey Minstrel breaks off as he's hit in the face by a large, sodden cauliflower. With that, the town watch march forward and surround the adventurers. The annoying musician is right about one thing. I don't think they have a choice about this. Alright, let's go to the market. There's a Masterwork Silver Dagger that can be used by the Witch Hunter. Not going to worry about it. I'll get a Potion of Healing. Some small bandages. Not going to bother with that. Just want some healing stuff. That's all I really care about at this point in the game. And no one can level up, I don't think. The warrior is employed by a local merchant to carry bales of cotton to the riverside area for a day. 20 gold. Yeah, I don't think anyone can level up yet. Yeah, so he gets to go to the Troll Slayer's shrine, so they all go to different places. Well, most of them go to Temple. Temple of Sigmar, Temple. Alright, let's see if we can't hit another dungeon real quick. Kill Petrick Kemberg against Undead. Let's do the next main quest. I think we'll bring the same party since none of them managed to level up that time. Alright, adventurers have followed the Grey Minstrel's haphazard directions and have come upon a foreboding entrance into the depths. The armed escort of Siegfriedhof guards halt here. They're clearly not keen to accompany your party in there. Look on the bright side. If you fail to save the girl, the Grey Minstrel will share your fate. But if you're successful, a rich and powerful Burgermeister will be in your debt. Night goblins with bows and a regular night goblin. Great. Not gonna need any healing from that ring this time. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let's go and equip that stone bread on him. Hey, more stone bread. Fantastic. This isn't good. Alright, hopefully he survives this turn. That was a nasty ambush. Hey, +1 toughness. Some leather boots. Let's actually give that to... I might give it to him since he's on the... he's been going down a lot. Or he's been taking a lot of damage, that's what I'm trying to say. Minus will far is confronted by a slumped, cowed figure crawling towards them, calling for help in a piteous voice. Upon reaching the stranger, the warrior realizes that offering aid was not a good idea. The figure slumps in their arm, dead, his cowl falling to one side and revealing his plague-ridden face. Boils and pustules cover the stranger's cheeks, and his eyes weep a thick yellow fluid. The warrior's quick reflexes mean he is able to jump back immediately, avoiding any infection from the fallen fighter. The warriors leave the festering body alone. Five snotlings, huh? Should have another idea we can use. No, we can't. Cut him down. Or not. Alright, cool. The Grey Minstrel's Revenge. Suddenly, a large slab of masonry falls to the ground with a loud crash. The whole room shakes, and the ceiling starts to crumble. The dungeon is collapsing. You haven't got long. Find the girl and get out. Pretty sure this is the last room, so that's okay. So we've got it all under control. Oh, this is the boss. He should be standing beside him. Let's get this Grey Wizard leveled up. Alright, fine. Fine. Alright, victorious once again. Hopefully Magnus levels up. Perfect. Alright, the Grey Minstrel's Revenge. The last of your party sprints into daylight, just as a resounding crash and a large billowing cloud of black dust erupt from the dungeon entrance. Your party has escaped and saved the Burgermeister's daughter. This is just as well as he stands before you, flanked by the town watch once more. Alicia, he says, embracing the girl. He turns to your party. You shall be richly rewarded for this. I am in your debt. And don't worry about the accursed minstrel. He won't be troubling you or I again. He summons 2 guards forward to carry a heavy chest between them. They set the chest down before the adventurers, and then withdraw. The girl looks back at her saviors one last time, and is then ushered away, along with the Burgermeister and his entire retinue. Well done, heroes. And 500 gold. Fantastic. So I'm going to go back and level up the wizard real quick. Every turn during the power phase, the wizard will attempt to draw power from the magical winds flowing through the dungeon. This power can be used to cast spells during your turn. Power drawn from the wind is lost at the end of your turn. The wizard also has a power reserve which can be used when needed. Reserve power is automatically used when available if casting spells that cost more power than the winds have provided. Use this power wisely, it does not replenish inside dungeons. As a new spell, Blade of Night, give the targeted warrior additional melee attacks proportional to their battle level for the turn. It's actually a very, very good spell. Steam Bath. Your warrior spends the rest of his day in the heaty atmosphere of a steam bath, sweating off the after effects of last night's sojourn at the tavern. He emerges feeling far healthier than he has for a good while. +1 max wounds. Right, so we can sell that and that. This might be worth grabbing for the Witch Hunter. I'm not going to bother with it right now. Alright, and I might not do this one off camera, and we'll just continue in the next episode. I think we have to go to Marburg for the next quest. But yeah, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.